तमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। So this language conveys an object in terms of its properties. Language can only describe a noun with the help of its adjectives. If we have to talk about something which is not a noun with adjectives, neither it is a noun with adjectives nor it is an adjective of something. It is free from the noun-adjective relationship. Just as it is free from cause and effect relation, just as it is free from correlation, it is also free from noun-adjective relation. And the words really convey on the basis of jati. Words can describe a noun in terms of its species, class. Words can describe a noun in terms of its species, like a cow. When you say cow, what does it mean? I am using the word cow and it refers to its species, jati, its class. Class. Cow class. Classification is endless, you see. Then broad classification, then there is subdivisions and subdivisions and subdivisions and subdivisions. Anyway, cow is a word that describes a cow in terms of its species, class, cow. Mrit, clay. Clay it describes the clay in terms of its jati. It's not a rock. It's not fire. It's not water. It's not air. It's not space. It is clay. So clay is a jati. Cow is an example for a living noun. Mrit is an example for an inert noun. Shuklaha, guna. It's a white cow. So the white becomes a white cow, you see. Cow becomes the noun and Shukla becomes an adjective. Pachakaha, he is a cook. Refers to his kriya. Kriya means his function. What is his vritti? So you describe a noun in terms of its function. You describe a man in terms of his profession. Pachaka. Dhani, a rich man. How you are able to describe a man as a rich man? In terms of his sambandha with the wealth. It's called possession. That's called sambandha. The word cow refers to jati. The word mrit refers to jati. You have to follow this point very well. Jati, class. When you say man, jati. A woman, jati. a human being, jati. Maybe primary jati is division, primary division or some division. That's a different thing, but it is a jati. It's a jati. Classification is graded, understand? All vegetation comes under one jati. Then you classify further classification. There are plants and trees. That is, and then the trees again come under one jati. Then the trees again become further classified. This is a tamarind tree. This is a coconut tree. This is a banyan tree, etc. Like this classification. And within the tamarind trees there are so many prakarki. Then there is further division, subdivisions. But any sub-classification, it doesn't matter, but there is a word to refer to that jati. Cow is a jati. Mrit, clay, refers to jati. Shuklaha refers to guna, jati guna. Pachakaha, kriya. Dhani, sambandha. So when you have these four things, and every object in this creation has these four properties. Creation is only in the form of jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Any object you can think of, it is a noun with adjectives. Even an inert object has got a kriya, like a moving tree, a moving bus. It is a bus. It is a jati. It is a DTC bus, guna. It is a double decker, guna. It is a moving bus, kriya. It is a government bus, sambandha. Now, minus these four things, use language. Don't take the help of these four. Don't take the help of the jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Use language. Can you use? The moment you open your mouth, you have to think of you think of the thing. You want to talk about something. Otherwise, why should you open your mouth, ji? What is the purpose? Where is the need for language if you don't want to talk about something? We need to, when we think of something, thought and the word become manifest. So whenever we talk, we happen to be talking. In the creation, we have vak also. When there is perception, there is a need for language. When you see something, then there is a need to talk about it. Because perception becomes suffocating without talking about it. I think so. I don't mind saying that. When you talk about it, then there is a relief from it. Because you don't know what to do with it. Yes, inside the truth you perceive an object. Then what do you do with that? Just talk about it. Swamiji, is it your Kapola Kalpitam or what does Veda say? Yes, Veda says. In Purusha Suktam, there is a line, I don't remember it. God creates the objects and go on chirping go on talking about the objects. Abhivadan yada aste Veda ametam purusham mahantam. I don't remember. Aditya. That is an idea. Tamasa parastat. He says, God creates the objects and goes on chirping about them. That's what we do. You perceive the things and go on talking about it in yourself or to others. Therefore, talking to oneself, it all began with Bhagwan. Bhagwan, this is what he does. Goes on talking. That is why the thought and the word manifest together. Therefore, when you open your mouth, you want to talk about an object. And it is possible to talk about anything in this world on the basis of one. All the four things are on the basis of even one. Like even Bhagavan as Ishvara, we can talk about him. He is the Srishtikarta. He is the source of the universe. He is the support of the universe. This is all talking, describing. Why? On what basis are we able to talk about Ishvara? Kriya, Sambandha. He is the creator, that relationship. Sambandha is there, He is the source of this creation. He is the support of the creation. He is the resolving point of the creation. Therefore, we can use the language to describe Ishvara taking the help of Sambandha. Because Ishvara also has a Sambandha. From Srishti point of view, he is Ishvara. Therefore, Ishvara can be described. Every object in the creation can be described through language in terms of jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Even source can be described in terms of sambandha. समझ गए ना? Think of Nirvishesha. He is not even the source. He is one without a second. Can you describe? Nirvishesha. But Swamiji, we are able to describe Nirvishesham with the word Nirvishesham. That's not description, that is correction. When you describe something with nir, an, in, etc., that negative is there, Nirvishesha. Nir is negative, free from Vishesha. Nirvishesha means free from Vishesha. It's not a description, it is a correction. Why? Because I look upon myself as Savishesha. I look upon myself as Savishesha. And the Shruti says, no, you are not Savishesha, you are Nirvishesha. So it is a corrective statement, not a descriptive statement. A descriptive statement always describes an object in terms of jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. And even Ishvara can be described not in terms of jati and guna, but in terms of sambandha. Because description is allowed. Description becomes possible on the basis of all the four, or on the basis of at least one. ये बहुत अच्छे से समझ लीजिए. Tree, jati. Tall tree, guna. Moving tree, kriya. It's garden tree, sambandha. Bas. You take the branch, it is a branch, jati. Within the tree again you take the branch, and again subdivision. It's a branch. It's a huge branch. It's a dead branch, guna. And it is a dying branch. Something, kriya ho to kriya, nahi to koi baat nahi, jati guna is enough. Sambandha. This is a branch that belongs to this tree. Sambandha. Swamiji, is it necessary that a noun should have all the four things for description? No. If it has even one, it's available for description. And therefore, God is described in terms of only sambandha. But describe Nirvishesha. But Swamiji, the word Nirvishesham doesn't describe the truth. No. Nirvishesham, Kala Atitam, Nirgunam, Advitiyam. These are all negative, In it begins a word ununderstood, And an, in, nan, these are all what? Negative, corrective words. So how do you use a positive term for nirvishesham? A non-corrective word? Can you say? Use one positive term for deep sleep state. Can you use any positive term? Even the word peacefulness is nothing but corrective of, there was no disturbance. Freedom. When it comes to, see, peace is anubhavam, but when it comes to description, it is always corrective. You experience the truth as non-dual. But when I have to use the word for that experience, it is always corrective word. When you experience a deep sleep state, you don't experience it as free from Dvaitam, etc. There is no memory of Dvaitam. You don't experience as corrective. No experience is felt as corrective. Every experience is positive. Every experience is without a word. But when I describe deep sleep state, it is always in corrective language. Are you able to follow? Not easy to explain. When you are fast asleep, you don't feel that it is I am free from the waking, I am free from the dream, I am free from Vishesha, I am free from time. Is there such a language? Therefore, Anubhava is free from both Adhyaropa Drishti as well as Apavada. It is peaceful. But when it comes to be described, it is always either from Adhyaropa Drishti or from Apavada. In relation to the same deep sleep state, in relation to the Jagrat, it is the source that is called in Adhyaropa Drishti, it is Karanam Sambandha. And then if I have to describe it from its own point of view, say it is free from Karikaranam. It is timeless, it is thought-free, time-free, form-free, causation-free, even creation-free. Therefore, source creation relationship free, Satya Mithya Bhava relationship free. Therefore, any nirvishesham is described in corrective language. But Anubhava is free from any, it is free from describability as well as any correctability. It is free from the statements of description and statements of correction. Are you able to follow this? And therefore, iti yatha lokasiddhaha padarthaha, meaning the objects that are evident in this creation, they are always evident to be describable in terms of jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. Aram se sun lijiye, this is the cardinal, what we call the nucleus of Vedanta. How Shabda is a pramana, because it only corrects your thinking about yourself. It doesn't meddle with the truth. Nobody can have any access to the truth. When my own thought has no access to me, in order to be myself, I have to transcend thought. If I can't objectify my own self, how can the Shastra objectify me? There is no access to me. Nothing can have any access to my being. Therefore, because the words are only descriptive in terms of Jati Guna Kriya Sambandha or corrective of the error, they have no access to the truth. Nothing can have any access to the truth. But what do the words do? The words don't go and touch the truth. The words correct my thinking about myself. They work on my thinking. As corrective of my thinking, they are pramanam, please. They are corrective of my vision about myself, they are pramanam. They are not a pramanam in the form of making the truth evident. You see, the objects are pramana siddham. Their very existence is linked to the senses. Unrelated to the senses, the objects have no existence. Therefore, it is not only pramana siddham, it is pramana jneyam. Objects, the very existence of the objects is linked to the senses, and even the knowledge of the objects is linked to the senses. It is pramana gamyam and pramana siddham. Whereas the truth is not a pramana siddha. It is not a pramana siddham. It is swataha siddham. It is not something. It is not something that Vedanta pramana siddham nahi. It is swataha siddham. But Shabda pramana only helps me to understand it, bas. Whereas this objects, the very existence is linked to senses. That is a correlation. Unrelated to my senses, the objects cannot prove that. Therefore, the creation is, the objects are pramana siddham. Individual objects are pramana siddham. And also pramana jneyam, pramana gamyam. They exist in relation to the senses. They are also known through the senses. Just their pramanas are all important. When it comes to the objects, pramanas are all important. But when it comes to the Atma, Atma is swata siddham. And even the Vedanta does not really, it only corrects my thinking. It doesn't, ultimately, the truth is understood not in the light of Vedanta. Truth is understood in the light of itself. The truth is understood in the light of itself. But when the truth is understood in the light of itself, then what does the Vedanta do? The Vedanta directs my thinking towards it. Therefore, sometimes we are prone to thinking that maybe the truth becomes understood in the light of Vedanta. No. It is understood always in the light of itself. Light of itself. You transcend the thought in the light of yourself, not in the light of lullaby. Lullaby is only an external sahakari karana. Lullaby only helps. But I transcend the thought through the strength of my own being. Because the nature of the self is, the nature of the self as by nature timeless, helps me to transcend the thought. Transcending the thought is done by the power of, by the nature of the self itself. Like when the fire burns, it doesn't burn because of something else. The fire burns because that is its nature. A fact is always understood in the light of itself, please. That is called Vastu Tantra. A knowledge of a fact is understood, is recognized in the light of its own evidence. बहुत बड़ी बात है this thing. Some other time I will elaborate upon. Because if I see the Arundhati, I say this is Arundhati, I am only recognizing it in the light of its own evidence to me. It may be sense evidence, that is evidence. Therefore, every recognition presupposes evidence. In the case of Arundhati, it is a Pramana Siddhi. In the case of Atma, it is Swata Siddham. बस इतना ही फर्क है. But evidence. And therefore, all knowledge presupposes evidence. इति यथा लोकसिद्धाः पदार्थः अतएव therefore मनसा प्रत्येतुमपि न शक्यते तत्. Therefore truth is not available even to be imagined. Manasa, by the mind, pratyetumapi, even to think of it. उसके बारे में you can't think of it, you can't feel it, you can't imagine it, you can't do anything about it. Because the very thinker, that very process of thinking or the process of imagining, the process of trying to figure out presupposes the presence of truth. Therefore, truth is not an object of thinking, object of imagination, object of inference, etc. Pratyetamapi na shakyate. It's not possible even to think of the truth. Therefore, when the truth is not available even to do uha poha, you know uha poha? This is called uha poha. You understand, uha poha means, trying to imagine where, he went there, and then what he must be doing. These are all called uha poha. मैं अमेरिका जाऊंगा, फिर अमेरिका जाके फिर ये करूँगा, इतना पैसा मिलेगा, फिर इसको इतना बचाऊंगा, फिर इतना भारत लेके आऊंगा, etc. These are what? Uha poha. Mental figuring out. ये सरदार जी लोग भांगड़ा डांस करते हैं ना, पंजाबी लोग. It is all doing, it is all uha poha. It is all uha poha dance. Everybody dances. These days, even though nobody knows what is dancing, if you put your hands like this, then you think it is a kind of dance. All jokers. What dancing? आराम से क्लास आके वेदांत पढ़ो. You will be much more happy. Yes. Jivas are good for nothing. रोटी कमाओ, शास्त्र पढ़ो, उससे शोभा मिलती है. Yes. थोड़ा रोटी कमाओ, वेदांत पढ़ो, उससे शोभा मिलती है. You don't have to go on. Therefore, it is not why human beings can't really take up the truth, because it's not available for human to think. And a scientist can spend time for analyzing things which are available for thinking. I can only think about what is available for thinking. You can't blame me if I don't think about, if I can't think about what I can't think, then you can't blame me. But Vedanta says, yes, you can still think about the truth by way of understanding that it is not an object of thinking, discovering its evidence independent of thinking. That is the pursuit. That is called Adhyayana. You don't have to, thinking about the truth means understanding that it is independent of, its existence is independent. But anyway, what I want to say is humanity cannot take up the truth for study, because truth is not available for memory. Truth is not available for love. It is not available for hate. It has to be available for some interaction. And truth is not. That is why it is said avyavaharyam. You can't interact with the truth. Like the 10th man cannot shake hands with the 10th man. He can't interact with the 10th man because himself is the 10th man. Sahaiva pravrittihi shabda pratyayoho. Shabda and pratyaya manifest together. They function together. Thinking and the language go together. Because a cow has no language, it doesn't also think. Therefore, in God's creation, wherever there is thinking, there is also language. Animals can't speak because they have no thinking. And thinking, that in fact, thinking means really all the inferences, inferential thinking, cause and effect thinking, noun-adjective thinking. All this thinking, this kind of thinking is not there. They don't think of anything, they only feel. They have some feeling, my food is there, and it goes there and eats and goes to sleep. What does it do? Beyond survival, they don't think. Actually, thinking is not meant for survival. Thinking is meant for understanding the truth. Because for survival you don't have to think greatly. Because animals also survive. Anyway, the point that we have to understand is the thinking and the language function together. That's why when a man can't talk much, he can't also think much. Yes, he can't think much. Or maybe he is a human being, there is a defect in his speech. It is a problem of defect in his speech, not it is a problem of a species sans speech. A cow can't speak, not because of a defect in its speech. It's not there. But a dumb man, he can't talk because of the defect in the speech. He may still think. I don't know. I'm not dumb, Ji. So I can't say. It is very difficult for people to keep me quiet. I have to keep talking. हमारा गुरुजी का संस्कार मेरे को आ गया है. हमारा गुरुजी भी ऐसे थे. He always wanted to talk and nice somebody. अपनी गुरु से क्या सीखा, उनका संस्कार आ गया मेरे को बस. सहायव प्रवृत्ति शब्द प्रत्ययोः सर्वत्र स्वविषये दृष्टा लोके. सर्वत्र in a always swavishaya, about an object. Drishta loke, it is seen in the world. What is seen in this world is, when you think of an object, the language also becomes manifest. When you think of its jati, that is called thinking. When you think of its jati, think of its guna, think of its kriya, think of its sambandha, then the language also manifests. Animals don't think, so specifically it is jati, guna, kriya, sambandha, etc. But Atma doesn't have jati, because there has to be more than one Atma if it has to be classified. And guna, there have to be more than one Atma to have a guna. You require plurality to classify, you require plurality to have adjectives. And kriya, you have to be limited to be mobile. You have to be located in space to be having kriya. Kriya means motion, movement. And you have to be an individual. You have to be an individual to have possession, sambandha. Ishvara Swamiji is not an individual. How can he have sambandha with the universe? So it is kalpita sambandha, not a real sambandha. Kalpita sambandha. Between Ishvara and the universe there is source and creation relationship. Source and creation relationship is always a kalpita sambandha. Between water and the wave there is source and creation relationship. Wherever there is source and creation relationship, it is a kalpita sambandha. That means no sambandha. But kalpita sambandha to hai na Swamiji. Sambandha is kalpita means no sambandha. आप लोग तो हमेशा कहते ना के बराबर. बारिश हुई एक दो ना के बराबर समझ लीजिए. एक कल्पित संबंध में संबंध ना के बराबर संबंध है ही नहीं, बराबर नहीं है. Between the sand and the mirage water there is sambandha. What is it? Source and error. Satya mithya bhava means relationship. Bhava. Satya mithya bhava means satya mithya relation. Wherever there is satya mithya relation, when we refer to it, it means there is no relationship. If you talk about it, satya mithya relationship, otherwise it is non-true. So keeping in view the creation, the Shastra says, sir, between this universe and your nature, between your being and the creation, there is satya mithya bhava. Therefore, whenever you think of an object, whether you think of its class, or think of its guna, or think of its kriya, or sambandha, the language manifests. When all the four resolve, thought resolves, language. When the thought of them resolves, the language also resolves. As long as I am thinking about Sushupti as different from the Jagrat, when I am thinking of, I am remembering Jagrat, I am also thinking of Sushupti. There are two. So there is a jati. Sushupti is one avastha, Jagrat is another avastha. I am moving from one kind of avastha to another kind of avastha. That thinking, so long there is a language. But the moment that thinking resolves, the language also resolves. See, everything is evident. See, don't miss this opportunity to understand this glorious phenomenon. At least make a sacred effort. Look at yourself, how beautiful is this Vedanta talking. And therefore, human beings are all the time, all the literature that is available on the earth is only talking about things with jati, guna, kriya, sambandha. And the seer has no jati, seer has no guna, seer has no guna, kriya or sambandha. And similarly, next, yadapi brahma nirdishyate. And whenever Brahman is pointed out, whenever Brahman is described in the Shastram, Like what? Satyam is a positive term. All positive terms are used to describe the truth only from the Jagat Drishti. In relation to the universe, it is Satyam. In relation to the universe, it is Jnanam. In relation to the universe, it is Vijnanam. It is Anandam. All positive terms are used. Affirmative terms are used. All affirmative terms are used only in relation to the universe. Did you hear? स्वामी जी फिर बताइए क्या? आप कहाँ गए थे? मैं तो घर गया था, अभी वापस आया. जब आप मेरे तरफ देखा तब मैं वापस एकदम आ गया. फिर बताऊं. All the affirmative terms are used only in relation to the universe. This is called Adhyaropa Drishti. The Jagat is Adhyaropita. It is imposed. It is a creation. It is an illusion. An illusion is called Adhyaropitam. And from its point of view, what is the Brahman? It's a source. As the source, it is what? Satyam. In relation to this Mithya. Jnanam. In relation to this Jadam. Vijnanam. In relation to this Jadam. Anandam. In relation to this Dukkham. स्वामी जी, हाँ स्वामी जी, ये तो बड़ा दुख है. हाँ जी, दुखम है. Dukkham is Dukkham. Everybody understand. Understand Sukham also is nothing but Dukkham. In comparison to the truth. दुख को दुख समझना बड़ी बात नहीं, सुख को दुख समझना बड़ी बात है. In contrast to truth. Like even the best waking pleasures are nothing in comparison to the bliss, the peace of deep sleep, is it not? Yes. Even the best pleasures are nothing. Even the biggest drops of the sea are nothing in comparison to the sea. Even the biggest, even the biggest drops of the sea water. Satyam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Anandam, Brahma, Sat. And the word Sat, Adhyaropa Drishtya. In relation to the universe, it is called Sat, because this is Asat. Brahma, we call Brahman, that is in affirmative term only in relation to the Parichinna, the limited. That is unlimited in relation to limited. Ityadi. These affirmative descriptions are called Vidhimukhayi Shabda. Is called Vidhimukha. Vidhimukha means, positive terms. Vidhimukha. Vidhi means ऐसा है. प्रतिषेध मुखा मीन ऐसा नहीं है, ऐसा है. इज कॉल्ड विधिमुखा. ऐसा नहीं है, ये गाय है, ये विधिमुखा. ये अश्व नहीं है, ये बफेलो नहीं है, ये नहीं. बिकॉज आई एम इमेजिनिंग इट टू बी हॉर्स. वो हॉर्स नहीं है. It is not really liberating the cow. It is liberating the thinker. I am thinking about the cow as a horse. So Shastra comes and says, it is a cow, it is not a horse. It is a cow is called Vidhimukha. It is not a horse, Pratishedamukha. Correct. It is a cow, it is not an elephant. It's not a buffalo. It's not a rock. It's not a tiger. Na. It's called, ये ऐसा नहीं है. जो आप सोच रहे हैं वो नहीं है. जो आप सोच रहे हैं वो नहीं है. That is called प्रतिषेधमुखा. कितनी अच्छी बात है जी. जो आपके बारे, अपने बारे में आप जो सोच रहे हैं वो आप नहीं है. जो है उसके बारे में आप सोच नहीं रहे हैं. जो नहीं है सोच. Therefore, Sat, Brahma, Atma, even the word Atma is from Adhyaropa Drishti. The word Atma, because this is Anatma, this is an object, in relation to the object, in contrast also is a relation. In contrast to the object, in relation to this contrasting object, in relation to this object, this self is called Atma. In contrast to the objects which is not which is Anatma. Are you able to follow? Thus all the affirmative terms are used from the Adhyaropa Drishti. And the Neti Neti is used, all the corrective terms are used in order from its own point of view. Because all the descriptions given from Adhyaropa Drishti are themselves negated. This is called Prapta Pratishedha. Prapta Pratishedha means the very description that the Shastra gives from Adhyaropa Drishti, it negates. It negates its own description. First it says it is the source of the Jagat. This is called Adhyaropa Drishti. Then it says it is not even. So it's free from the source creation relationship. That is its Swarupa. It is free from the creatorship, creator-created relationship. It is free from the source creation relationship. It is free from the seer-seen relationship. Free from all relationships. Felt relationships as well as the Shastra conveyed relationships. Felt relationships as well as Shastra conveyed relationships. All relationships it is free from. That is called Neti, Neti, Neti. Vidhimukha. You understand now? Vidhimukha Vakya. The other is called Pratishedha Mukha Vakya. याद रखेंगे वेदांत विद्यार्थी जी. Affirmative sense statements and the corrective statements. Even when it uses the affirmative words to describe Brahman, tadapi, tabhi, adhyaropita upadi visheshaireva tatha tatha nirdishyate. Only from adhyaropita drishti it is pointed, it is described. Natu sakshat, but not directly. Truth cannot be directly described through affirmative terms. Swamiji, can the truth be directly described through the Pratishedha Mukha? There is no sakshat. Keeping in view the error, if I describe the truth from the error point of view, that is called Vidhimukha. If I correct that from it is not even the source of an error. The source and error relationship it is free from. So if I take the help of a relationship and describe it, it is a kind of a affirmative relation, affirmative description. If I say it has no relationship, it is free from all relationships, that is called Pratishedha. I am trying to find out a very simple approach to this prakriya to convey to you. You describe anything with the help of a sambandha, that is called a sambandha. Sambandha is called a relationship. By taking the help of sambandha, you describe the truth, that is called adhyaropa drishti. And just to say it is free from that relationship, that is called pratishedha. He is a husband, that is called vidhimukha. He is free from being a husband, pratishedha. It should be very easy. More simple than this, how to make it? Bhagavan is called Vidhimukha. He is free from the Bhagavan the source and creation relationship. That is Pratisheda. And what is Anubhava? It is free from Vidimukha Vakya as well as Pratisheda Mukha Vakya. That is Anubhava. What is Sushupti? Is the source of Jagrat, Vidimukha. What is Sushupti? The source of Jagrat, Vidimukha. What is Sushupti? It is free from the source creation relationship, Pratisheda Mukha. What is Anubhava? Free from both Vidimukha Vakyam as well as Pratisheda Mukha Vakyam. There is no Vakyam in the Anubhava. Because both the Vakyas work on thinking. Both the Vakyas work on thinking. Because the entire error is in the form of thinking. It corrects my thinking about myself. Therefore, inside the Sushupti, you don't have the Vidivakya about the Sushupti or the Pratisheda Vakya about the Sushupti. It is only Shanti. Because if you have to have the Pratisheda Vakya, then you have to remember the Vidivakya. Either you have the whole Prakriya intact or you are free from the whole Prakriya. बहुत बड़ी बात है जी, नहीं है? स्वामी जी जल्दी जल्दी खत्म करो, हम लोगों को नींद आ रही। हम क्या करेंगे जी? हम घर जाके सो जाएंगे। थोड़ा सुन के जाइए, सुनने के बाद नींद अच्छा आता है। Because you get tired. Supposing without listening to the class, if you again want to get sleep, you can't get sleep. अभी तो उठे, थोड़ी देर जागते रहो। नहीं स्वामी जी, मेरे को उठते ही नींद आती है। थोड़ा सुन लीजिए। यथा उक्त हेतु हो. Why you can never describe the truth directly? Because of the above said reason. What is the reason? Because in Anubhava, the truth has no jati, has no guna, has no kriya, has no sambandha. Vidimukha Vakya is facilitated due to the sambandha, a relationship. Even Satyamithya relation doesn't matter. Even source creation relation, कोई बात नहीं. Some relation is there. Based on that relationship, I say that is the Bhagavan, that is the creator. He is the source, he is the material, he is the Srishtikarta, Palanakarta, Samharakarta, he is Brahma, he is Vishnu, he is Shiva. All these affirmative sentences. And in the society, in the culture, people always remember the affirmative sentence. Bhakti comes only through Adhyaropa Drishti. The entire bhakti is from Adhyaropa Drishti. A bhakta doesn't say he is nirvisesham, he is free from this, he is not a Srishtikarta, he is free from source creation, relationship, etc. Nobody says that. ये तो भगवान है, सबको बनाने वाला है, ये संहार करता है, सृष्टि करता है, स्थिति करता है, जब भी हम परेशान में होते हैं हमको मदद करता है. All affirmative. Adhyaropa Drishti से ही भक्ति होती है. Therefore the entire bhakti is from Adhyaropa Drishti. All religions are based upon from the Adhyaropa Drishti. All temples are from Adhyaropa Drishti. It's all Adhyaropa Drishti. When it comes to the Swarupa Drishti, it's free from all this. And in Anubhava, there is neither Adhyaropa Drishti nor Apavada. In Anubhava, I am free from the Vakya. Until the truth is understood, the Vakya works on me. As the truth is understood, the Vakya resolves, the thinking resolves. Yada punaha swarupameva nirdidikshutam. This we will see tomorrow. Ji. I don't want to torment you by stretching the class. अब क्या करेंगे? पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Supposing you have a pandal and 5,000, 10,000 people come from all departments of life, all sections of life. A cross section of Punjabis comes, a cross section of Indians come. Can you talk about this Adhyarupa Drishti, Apavada Drishti to them? Can you convey to them? Vedanta is always, it works when the student silently hears. It has to go home. It has to enter your heart. Unless it goes into your heart, its glory is never understood. समझ गया ना? Therefore, small class, it doesn't matter. If you don't have 5,000 people, 10,000. Family in your